All right, welcome everybody to Off the Rails. We are back this week after taking a break, I guess you could say, last week. Myself and then Cameron here today. We're going to kind of talk about a little bit of everything, it seems like, in terms of kind of the new offerings that CrossFit Taylors have at this point, kind of breaking them down further and just informing everyone what it's all about and what you can expect if you sign up or join any of the new offerings there. And then we'll kind of go from there. But I'll let you start.
All right. Let's talk about. I'll ask you a question
Okay.
to start.
Mhm.
Programming wise, is there a program that you know about that you would consider more competitive than any other program?
Hmm. I mean the HWPO, I think they call it the 2.0 now.
Okay.
I would consider that more of a competitive program, or Mayhem Compete. I would consider a competitive program.
Okay. And so with that, do you so like if you were gonna be a competitor
Mhm.
or have someone be a competitor, you would like highly recommend like, hey, just go follow this thing, right? Or what would you like? Is that what you like? Would you see it that way?
Yeah, I mean, I think they've done a decent job. I mean, we did the HWPO one for a while there, and it does a good job of breaking everything down, having you enter in your own percentages, so you're not just working off what they tell you. But you do have to get used to the volume.
Yeah.
It's a lot right away, whereas there's not like that ramp up space because they want everyone to be able just to jump in and start going. It's
Yeah.
not personalized or tailored to you, if that makes sense.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Right. So with that, obviously there's a lot of different competitive programs
Mhm.
out there, right? Including some in our own area with Apex and
No
we
end.
prefer the
Oh,
hate,
yeah. For
uh,
the hate.
things like that, right?
Mhm.
But so it's like, okay, so if there's a competitive program or whatever, like why don't all these people just follow the same one,
Mhm.
right? And like you alluded to, like we're gonna get to why kind of we do what we do and how we do it. And so like my belief in programming is like, yes, there are competitive things we could do
Mhm.
more of, right?
Mhm.
But I think no matter what program you follow, there's a base,
Yeah.
right? There's base CrossFit that needs to be done
Mhm.
or that will be done.
Mhm.
So whether you're following, the HWPO 2.0 or we prefer the hate or CrossFit Taylors,
Mhm.
like your base week is probably going to have pulling something from the ground,
Yeah.
squatting below
Yeah. Yeah.
parallel, pulling, pushing with your arms, cardio,
Mhm.
anaerobic, like all those things, right? You
Yeah.
should have like, um, and so I think when it comes to programming, right, you should be able to follow almost any program, and then what do I need to work on?
Mhm.
Like, what are my weaknesses?
Yeah.
And that's where we provide tracks,
Mhm.
right? Or one-on-one
Yeah.
programming.
Yeah.
So, I know that people start CrossFit,
Mhm.
then they get to a certain point,
Yep.
and they're like, I really want to start competing,
Mhm.
or I really want to do whatever. And a lot of times that turns into, I'm just going to do more,
Yes.
right?
Mhm.
It's like, I'm going to follow this track
Yep.
and I'm going to follow them and I'm going to show up to the gym.
Yep.
And it's like, okay, well, if you're following that track and you're showing up to the gym, the base of that track, HWPO, for
Yeah.
instance, is still going to be doing deadlifts, squats, cleans, snatches, pull, like all these things
Mhm.
that you're already doing with a class
Yeah.
workout.
Yep.
If your gym is programming
Mhm.
appropriately, like CrossFit,
Yeah.
let's just say. Um, so then it becomes this burnout of like you're
Mhm.
just doing too much,
Yeah.
right? Versus, hey, let's pick one option that is your base day to day CrossFit
Yeah.
that's probably going to push you towards something like
Mhm.
what we do, and still hit all around all these things that you should be doing. And then let's find the pieces that
Yeah.
are pushing your weakness,
Yep.
right? Um, so I think that's where a lot of the one-on-one can come in,
Mhm.
and also a track like a barbell track
Yeah.
or a performance track or something like that. Because then it's like, okay, how many days a week of additional work do you
Mhm.
need? not every day you need additional work,
Right.
right?
Yep.
I'm going to say maybe the top 1% in the world needs something other than your normal base,
Yeah.
right? And even we could take our normal base and adjust it,
Mhm.
right? Up or down. Like
Yeah.
we always talk about scaling. And I think everyone looks at scaling as like down.
Yeah.
It's like you could scale up
Mhm.
and make a class workout harder as
Yeah.
well, just to make sure that your top 1% athlete is still getting a strong enough base
Mhm.
of volume and strength for where they're at. But so that's kind of where I wanted to start the conversation of like people get caught up in this like competitive programming idea. And it's like you could do regular programming
Mhm.
and add a competitive piece
Yeah.
to make you better.
Mhm.
And the best example of that, I think, is going to be Pat Vellner.
Yeah.
Of like, for years, he said, I only do 1 to maybe 2 hours of working out a
Mhm.
day. And I just make those 1 to 2 hours really count.
Yep.
And like that 1 hour looks like a normal class.
Mhm.
And then the other stuff would be accessory work, we'll
Yep.
call it, of gymnastics, cardio
Mhm.
pieces, whatever it might be, technique, barbell stuff,
Yep.
right? Um, so, and we've had people and coaches over the years, it's like all of a sudden they're like, well, when can I come in again? Or when can I do this? Or like, uh, if everyone that's been here long enough knows Travis he would have a day off work and I'd come in and he'd just be sitting there with his shirt off. And I'm like, hey, what you been doing? And he would just start telling me these workouts.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, how long did that take you? And it's just like, well, this one took me like 30 minutes. I'm like, I bet the cap for that was like 12.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I
Yeah.
melike,
Mhm.
but it was like, because he had just done so much, he was like, I'm just going to do more.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like, that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to make you better.
Yeah.
Right. And so I think with like what we, what I started and what like you're now helping with is like, whether we're helping people here at CrossFit Taylors or anyone else that wants to jump in, it's like, we want you to do class
Mhm.
because you should be doing class to get your base.
Right.
And then we're going to guide you towards whatever additional pieces
Mhm.
we might be offering
Yep.
to help you get better.
Yeah.
Right. Um, and back to you, do you feel like that makes sense and like for most programs and
Yeah.
whatever?
Because I mean, to your point, like the regular class, like is the base, like you said. It's not supposed to be like. I mean, if I'm being honest, like I'm not programming a competitioning for class workouts.
Right.
Like I'm trying to get everyone generally physically prepared. The CrossFit, kind of motto of like, I want you to be able to do life outside the gym. I don't care if you can row a 500 in a minute 30.
Right.
Like I just want you to be overall healthy, have fun, sometimes make it harder, sometimes make it competition esque, depending on the workout. Like if we're doing Fran, obviously I want people to push as hard as they can. But yeah, just the class workouts, if you are just doing those the 5 days a week or even 3 days a week, should be giving you a solid fitness base where you don't have to do extra work if you don't want to.
Right. So what would be the difference in
Mhm.
a performance-esque workout versus a class workout?
Yep. So they're not as fun, I'll be honest. It's like the one I did today that I had the people at the performance track do was we did a buy-in of a 60-calorie row, followed by 1 to 10 of power cleans and bar facing burpee with a buyout of 60-calorie row. So we're getting a elongated time on the rower, which in class we just kind of sometimes aren't able to do as much just because of equipment or people. Like it's really hard to do a 60-calorie row with 25 people in
Right.
class. So
Right.
being able to have that time on the rower, especially knowing we do see that kind of time frame in qualifiers, or we even saw it in the open in 23.1, I think, when we started with that 60-calorie row. So being able to do higher reps on a machine, things like that, and then just touching different movements that we see often in a competition setup.
Right. So maybe like higher volume burpee box jump
Hmm.
overs, higher volume wall
Yeah.
balls, handstand push-ups,
Hmm.
pull-ups, chest to bar,
Yeah.
things like that.
Mhm.
Yeah. I will say it kind of made me chuckle when you said they're not as fun, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes that means they do hurt more or
Hmm.
they suck more, but sometimes that means they're boring. And I
Yeah.
think that's why they're good for you, but we don't program them in class
Yes.
necessarily. Like to build a good aerobic capacity,
Hmm.
right? That might mean being on a machine
Hmm.
for a while.
Yep.
And if we did that in class
It's
regularly, people
sucks.
probably would be like, I'm not coming to that day.
Yep.
Like, I don't want to go row for 45
Mm-hmm.
minutes, right? But if you want to be a competitive performance athlete, like you probably need those days where you're just going to be doing
Yeah.
rowing intervals
Yep.
or whatever. It might just be repeat one case.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like,
And it sucks.
I don't want to do that, but
Yeah.
I need to do that so I can get better at rowing,
Yep.
right? Especially if I want to be a higher level
Mm-hmm.
competitive person. So,
Which
um,
to coming back to your point of the boring or fun thing, like 90% of the people, I want them to have fun.
right,
I don't want them to be bored and like
right.
dreading coming to the gym.
And they
Like,
know they have a base knowledge
yeah,
of rowing. They've touched a rower.
like,
They get on a rower.
yep. If
Right.
they can do 2 minutes there, like that's all I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Like I don't need them to go any more than that
Yeah.
for the most part.
Right.
I want them to have fun, enjoy their experience in the gym, rather than showing up and being like, "Oh, great, we have 500 repeats today," like, or it turns into, "Oh, we have five."
Occasionally.
But like, so if every Monday we're doing 500 repeats for 10 rounds or whatever, like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm just gonna not show up today,
Yeah.
and then
I'm
all of
busy
us,
on Mondays.
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. So I just wanted to touch on that part
Mhm.
of, things that you might see on a competitive track or pieces that you might need to add. But
Yeah.
again, that's the reason why we don't put them in class.
Mhm.
Um, but do you think then, so say we need those pieces and you're doing that every Monday,
Yeah.
and then maybe you're doing gymnastics every Tuesday, or like,
Mhm.
let's just say there's more of a competitive track. Do you think any of that, like if you were just doing that, would then take away, like, are you missing something by not doing class?
I think yes and no.
Okay.
I think if you were just doing the competitive side or just like doing my 500 repeats, now I'm doing my gymnastic EMOM, then I'm doing my weightlifting EMOM or whatever it is. I think you lose a lot of the fun that the gym is supposed to be. Um, and I think you can do that for a while, but eventually, now if you're to go back to this, if I'm only doing 500 repeats or I'm only doing this, what else am I missing?
Right.
So yeah, I might be getting really good at these competitive movements that I see once a year, but now I'm missing everything else that I enjoy doing or that
Right.
I need to be doing for overall health.
Yeah.
Because a competitive CrossFit athlete, like if we're being realistic with ourselves, that's not a long time.
Yeah.
Like, sure, you see the masters athletes and you can keep on going and so on and so forth, but to have just a overall healthy, happy life that I think 90 to 95% of people want, you really should be doing class workouts.
Right. Yeah. That was kind of to my point of like, I think if you get, and again, I've just seen it all over the place, and it's like people get in this mindset. It's like cool, but it's like, hey, which is why I'm not going to work with you if you're not going to do class.
Yeah.
Because I've seen it time and time again. You'll lose the drive to want to go to the gym, or it
Yeah.
will get to the point where it's not fun anymore, and
Mhm.
you will burn out so much faster
Yeah.
than if you're coming in and you're seeing people, you're hanging out,
Mhm.
it is the reason why you initially started
Yeah.
CrossFit. Like, don't lose that
Yeah.
fun and that joy and that like the thing that brought you in here. I
Yeah.
think the other thing that a class does well, two things. One, it is more base and fundamental movements.
Mhm. Yeah.
And you still need to be doing those
Yeah.
things, right? Those things help build the other competitive things,
Mhm.
right? And make you a overall better athlete typically.
Mhm.
The other thing that class gives you is people to push against.
Yep.
When you're just by yourself and you're doing boring things, it's
Mhm.
really hard to maintain that effort or know if you are getting better or not, or did you give the effort you should have given that day, right?
Yep.
But if I have the same thing that all these other people are doing, I have something to go off of, I have something to chase, or I have people right next to me
Yep.
that I'm not really feeling it today, but Nate's ahead of me and he's not usually ahead of me. So I
Yep.
need to turn it on a little bit more because I should be beating Nate in this workout or
Yep.
whatever it might be,
Yeah.
or I just should be closer to him
Mhm.
or whatever, you know what I mean? And it's like, or it's just like, hey, this thing really sucks. All these other people are doing this thing that really sucks. So instead of slowing down and just being like, okay, I'm done with this for the day and I'm just going to get through it to get through it, it's
Yeah.
like, I'm going to keep going because everyone else is still going. Right.
I
And
mean,
so,
I would say like a perfect example of that is that bike sprint clean workout that we did on Tuesday
yeah.
of this week. Is like I tested that a week ago and just maintained 37 seconds the whole time. And I was like, man, maybe we should make this like a minute rest, like a minute on, minute off, or whatever. And I felt good. But then to your point, I'm with people. I've now seen a couple scores on the leaderboard of like, and I am a big proponent of the leaderboard sucks.
Yeah.
I am a private person. Like you will never see my score on SugarWOD because I got into a really bad headspace when we first joined here. But to your point, like I now know, like, okay, I'm gonna chase this. And now I got Jamin right next to me. I don't want him to beat me on a bike sprint.
Right.
So now I'm getting in the 20s, feeling terrible.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Which
oh,
is what that was
yeah,
meant to
hmm,
do, not be a comfortable bike,
exactly.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah. With that too, like I did that one by myself
yeah,
and here no one else in the gym, right? Which probably sucked more
yeah,
mentally because I got to round 6 or 7 and I was like, I could really just like
hmm,
give in and stop. Luckily, I've been doing this long enough that I can kind of talk myself into some things. But again, I don't do that every day.
yeah,
If I was doing that every day, I wouldn't be able to maintain or sustain that, right? Because it does become that mental aspect of like you don't have a coach counting down the clock. You don't have the other
hmm,
people getting off the bike when you should be getting off the bike, or you're trying to get off before they get
yeah,
off, or
yeah,
whatever,
yeah,
right? You're not looking up like, man, this hurts, and then seeing the other people around you going, yeah, they're still going, or
yeah,
I still want to beat them, right? You're just kind of like, ah, it's me and the clock,
yeah,
and at any point I could stop and no one knows,
yeah.
like,
Well,
you know what I
I
mean?
think to that point too, like especially coming or talking about like a competitive track or just competing in general, like every day shouldn't be 100%.
Yeah,
Like if you do that every single day, just putting your head into a wall because someone tells you this is what you're supposed to hit, that's a big issue.
right.
Like even, I mean, even Hopper just won the CrossFit Games, right? And he even said there's days where like this is what I'm supposed to hit, but I'm not doing it today.
Yeah,
Like I've seen that a lot. Um,
and that kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier. Like
yeah.
people want to be competitive, and they find this other track, right?
Hmm.
And they think it's going to help them,
Yeah.
and then they don't realize that you're not letting your body
Yeah.
recover. You're putting too much hard effort out too often,
Hmm.
where now the best way to put it was I took the aerobic capacity seminar with Chris Henshaw, and he was kind of we were it was similar conversation during his seminar. It's a really good seminar, by the way. And he was like, I just kept seeing these CrossFit athletes and they were just forcing themselves to do
Mm.
things, but really they were just teaching themselves how to go slower
Yeah.
because they were so tired and
Yeah.
so fatigued that they were, oh, I still got to do this.
Hmm.
And it's like, you're just telling your body that this is the pace you move at now,
Yeah.
instead of doing it when you're recovered or when
Hmm.
you're fresh or building it appropriately so you can add more reps or add more
Yeah.
weight and it still looks good and go, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
His whole thing is like, okay, can you not do more because you're tired or because it's too heavy? And it's like,
Yeah.
if your 1 rep max is way up here, it's not too heavy. You're
Hmm.
just tired, right? And so that used to be the old way of CrossFit. It was
Yeah.
like, just go hard, go as hard as possible all the time, and you'll
Yeah.
get better. And it's
Yeah.
like, well, now we know that's not 100%
Hmm.
true. Like there were people that were able to do that, but even then, if people were doing what they're doing now, they would have made those people look bad
Yeah.
because it's like, oh, there is resting, which I think they kind of give Matt Frazier he brought that into CrossFit of like
Yeah.
having an off season and
Yeah.
like because he was a weightlifter before
Hmm.
and was like, no, I'm gonna be smart about this
Yeah.
and not just beat my head into the
Yeah.
wall all the time.
Yeah.
But when appropriately do it, or when it's appropriate to do it, do it. So I think that's where, again, let's take it back to, okay, like if I'm getting that itch to be
Hmm.
competitive or that itch to do more,
Hmm.
like, what do I do? And I think that's where we've come in with like, hey, here's some options. Wherever you want to take it, go for it. Like I can program 5 days of work for you.
Yeah.
I've done it on top of class,
Hmm.
right? It's a lot. We have to build up to it,
Yeah.
and you have to be sleeping and eating and doing all these other things that are like that's now
More,
your life,
probably
right?
more important than just the
Yeah.
extra work. Yeah.
But for most people, we're looking at 2 days a week of additional work, maybe three.
Hmm.
And that should be enough focused weakness work
Yep.
of, oh, what do you need to get better? Oh, you need to do more pull-ups. You want to learn chest to bar. You want to muscle up. Like,
Hmm.
cool. We know you need to get better at gymnastics and gymnastic strength, right?
Yep.
Or you need to get, like, personally, I need to get stronger. Like I'm
Yep.
doing a lot more like quad and squat work, right? But it's not every day.
Right.
So I think that's where, hey, like, you know, and we talked about it, we were like, okay, what can we do? And obviously you came up with some tracks and then we left some one-on-one personal training in there. And it's like, pick your own journey. And I've had
Hmm.
people reach out and they're like, which one should I do? Like, I want to, it's like, cool. Like I would prefer you ask us because
Yeah.
then it's like, okay, before you just decide on one, like, what is your goal?
Yep.
Like,
That's a
what
big
is like,
question.
what does competitive mean to you? Is that a
Mm-hmm.
local comp? Is this your first comp? Is this like the most serious comp?
Yep.
Is it not even, you don't even want to be competitive? You just want to learn a new movement?
Yep.
Like, okay, that might not need a competitive track. Like a one movement learning thing needs more one-on-one
Mm-hmm.
work and like very focused skill-based stuff, right?
Yep.
And so there's, I would say personally, like if you're listening to this, I would recommend asking us first. Like, and I promise you, I'm not just going to give you the most expensive option. I
No.
want you to just do this one, right? Because a lot of times that turns into more work for us. Like the more one-on-one stuff I have to do, it turns into a lot more time, and
Mhm.
yeah, it's more money, but it's like that can get overwhelming. Like personally, I'd rather you do a track and get better from the track because we can
Yeah.
get more people better faster that way.
Mhm.
Um, and so I will say that lately I've personally been recommending like, hey, let's do a one-on-one session so we can really figure out what it is you want to get
Yeah.
better at.
Yep.
And then we'll figure out, does a track make sense, or does um, some personalized programming
Mhm.
on the side make sense, depending on again what that goal
Yeah.
is. Um, and again, I want to reiterate that whether you're at CrossFit Taylors or another gym, we can do this for you because you can do your class and get that base, and then we can give you pieces
Mhm.
that either you send us the week and we go, okay, they look like they would fit better here, here, and here.
Yeah.
Or if you know enough about CrossFit, like you can decide what days make, or
Yeah.
maybe you're off work one
Mhm.
day or whatever, like what days make the most sense for you to get these extra
Yep.
pieces in.
Yep.
Right. And so, like that's a big thing. Obviously it goes back to the rest and
Mhm.
recovery. Okay. We're not looking for 7 days a week of all this hard work.
No.
Like, I'd rather you do some 2-a-days with still a full rest day
Yeah.
here and there.
Yeah.
Right. Personally, I always recommend, like one of the people I work with was like, when should I do this? I have this day off. And I'm like, okay, well, when's your rest day?
Yeah.
Okay. Don't do it on that day. Like you need a rest day. So
Yeah.
let's look at one of these other days where you're already going to be working out, and then let's add it in on that day.
I mean, even to that point too, it's like with the whole like if we're looking at elite of the elite, going back to Fraser, when he's 5-time games champion, he had 1 day a week where he did absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
So if he's someone who's doing that, like, there's no excuse for you to not be able to do that too.
So Spencer Hindle, old CrossFit Games
Yeah.
name. I don't know. Many people might not know him, but he was around for a while, and I think his best finish at the games was third or fourth, maybe somewhere. He was in the top 5 at one
Mhm.
point. But he was at my L1. He was on seminar staff,
Yep.
and it was during the Open, which was crazy because they always do their lunch workout during the Open, and he was repeating. It was the 55 deadlift, 55 wall ball, 55
Oh,
kettlebell,
yeah,
55
yeah.
handstand push up. And we all went on lunch and came back, and he had his shirt off and he's all tired. And we're like, oh, how'd it go? And he was like, yeah, the second round of wall balls really sucked or whatever. And it's like, what? Like
Yeah.
you got through one round and the row and back to the wall
Yeah.
ball or deadlifts and it's like, yeah, that's not us.
Yeah.
But I say that to say that he talked about, because in the L1 they talk about programming and rest days and all these
Mhm.
things, and he was doing that lecture, and he was like, even as a games athlete, um, I have 2 rest days a week,
Yep.
and I don't go to the gym
Mhm.
because if I do, I'll get into something.
Yeah.
I'll just casually row or whatever, which will turn into something else, or
Yep.
someone will talk me into something. He was like, I stay at home, I watch TV, I pet my dog, I might go on a walk with my
Yep.
dog, but I will not go anywhere close to the gym because if I do, I'll do too much
Mhm.
and I won't be able to recover to then go hit my training sessions the
Yep.
way I should.
Yep.
And that's the big thing to get into people's heads of like, I know you really enjoy this and you really want to do more,
Mhm.
but you have to rest.
Yep.
You have to. Your body needs a chance to repair and
Mhm.
get better. And if you do that, you will get better and be able to attack that next workout the next day that's scheduled for you in a more intense way or in a better position because your body is now ready to do that thing versus you fatigued your arms and here we are trying to do something with your arms today. And now like you weren't rested and ready for
Mhm.
it. Right. So yeah, I mean, I guess when it comes to programming, competitive programming, like I think that's the big thing I want to make sure people understand is like, it's A, if you want more and you feel like you need more, B, what is the goal or
Mhm.
what are the goals you're chasing? And then C, what option makes the most sense
Yeah.
for that right now. And then if that becomes, again, we need to not take that up another notch or whatever,
Yeah. Yeah.
we can do that as well.
Mhm.
But for most people, hopping on one of the tracks of like, we're going to do this stuff that sucks.
Yeah.
Like you're going to do class,
Mhm.
but you're going to do the stuff that
Yeah.
sucks as well. And finding time to do the stuff that sucks, I
Mhm.
think, is the answer for most people. And again, I don't want to not sell it to you because like it's good for you. It's good for you
Yeah.
stuff. Like
Mhm.
again, it's not boring. It's not fun all the time, but it can be.
Yeah.
Like I'll say training for a marathon. At first, I was like, "This sucks. This isn't fun." But then, like the more we got into it, the more it was like, "Hey, I actually have paces I'm trying to hold or
Yeah.
things that I'm focusing on trying to do, which then made it fun again,
Mhm.
right?" So like when you first start doing rowing intervals, you're like, "Oh my god."
Yeah.
But then once you get good at them or you get
Mhm.
into them, then you're like so dialed in on like I'm trying to hold a minute 50 or a minute
Mhm.
51, right? And that's where the real work starts of like, okay, can I keep it within
Yep.
this exact time, or did my coach give me a note to back it off or take it
Yeah.
up a little bit, right?
Mhm.
Depending on like, do I need to go harder? Do I need to back off? And like, then that's when you become a better athlete
Mhm.
is can you purposefully choose a pace based off the workout you see, and you now can do that because you've had this practice and you know what's sustainable and you know what's not sustainable.
Mhm.
And that's where those things start to come in,
Yeah.
right? Because there's a physical side, but then I would say a lot of competing is the intelligent side
Mhm.
of knowing yourself, pacing appropriately, uh, where do I push, where do I not push, things like that.
I think that's almost been the cooler part of like doing the performance track for the last couple
Mhm.
weeks or since we've started it is having the people that I've been working with starting to understand workouts in general. Like so like I give them notes for the class workouts like here's your goal, here's your stimulus. Ideally we're doing this weight, well whatever it is. And to see some of them now be like, "Oh, I'm actually going to use this weightlifting piece as my recovery because this is what I'm good at." And just starting to learn like, okay, maybe I'm not doing competitive workouts all the time, but now I can treat the class workouts as a competitive workout because I'm understanding this is my strength. I'm going to push here, where now I'm going to use all my energy on my weakness,
Right.
which has been super fun to see.
Yeah. Teaching competitive people how to use class as training
Hmm.
instead of worrying about the leaderboard
Yeah.
and the whiteboard.
Yeah.
Hey, what can I get out of today's workout that's going to make me better in the long run?
Hmm.
That's huge,
Hmm.
right? I worked with Wolf a little bit when he first got here, like super competitive guy, super into CrossFit, and would just crush workouts. And I'm like,
Yeah.
we all know you're good at CrossFit, but how can you get better?
Hmm.
And I think one of the ones that we did, I remember like one of the first things I recommended. I think it was either Grace or something with like high volume cleans, and I was like, hey, I know you can do this fast doing quick singles.
Yeah.
What if you force yourself to
Hmm.
hold on and do touch and go reps?
Yeah.
And give yourself 5, 10, whatever that number is, and you have to do that.
Hmm.
Then in the future, you'll be able to do more touch and go reps when you want to instead
Yeah.
of always doing singles.
Hmm.
And it like clicked to him of like, oh,
Yeah.
that sucked more.
Yeah.
I was slower, but it's
Hmm.
like then if you start training that way, it will make you a better competitor
Hmm.
when you're actually competing.
Yeah.
That's the thing is like people are like, I want to compete
Yeah.
and I'm going to come in here and I'm going to compete. And it's like, okay, cool. But like, if you really want to compete at a competition,
Hmm.
we need to figure out how to get better on a daily basis
Yeah.
to be a better competitor when you sign up for that
Hmm.
thing. Even if that means taking a hit on the leaderboard today
Yeah.
because you're learning something or you're focusing on something else that is going to make you better down the road.
I think that is arguably probably the biggest thing for people to take away from this is like not every day you have to win on the leaderboard.
Right.
Like to your point, like, okay, Wolf's now to your point, if he can do singles faster, but now we're forcing him to do 10 touch and go and now he's slower, like he probably overall got better, even if he might have lost on the
Right.
leaderboard today.
Well, because maybe next time he can do grace and open up with a set of 10 touch and go and then do singles
Hmm.
and be like, oh, I started off faster and I was still able to finish with singles and that gave me a better time.
Yep.
But there's only like if you just we're using grace as an example, you can only do singles so fast at a certain point.
Hmm.
Eventually, you got to hold on to that thing. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yep.
And so then it becomes like, okay, well, if I haven't been practicing this, then what do I do? And
Yep.
so I think that's a big thing, and it goes back to like learning yourself, your
Hmm.
capacity of certain things, and what do you have in the tank, and with the competitive programming. Okay, now we've been building this. Maybe you can do sets of 5 pull-ups. Like that's
Hmm.
where you're at. Well, now I'm gonna have you bike and try to do sets of 5
Yep.
pull-ups. because I know the bike's going to wear your ass out. And then can
Mhm.
you still do that? If you can, we need to build your pull-up capacity to 7, 9, 10,
Yep.
or it's probably there. Like we need to retest your base
Mhm.
capacity so then we can pick better numbers, and we'll just slowly keep creeping that up to where now in a workout you're not doing threes or fours, you're doing
Yep.
sixes and sevens and eight. You know what I mean? And then that just continues to build. So
Mhm.
there's a lot behind programming in general for a class, but then
Mhm.
also when it gets to competitive
Yeah.
programming or more, how it's done, why it's done, and things like that.
Mhm.
So yeah, you could fit in a lot of things, but the base should be the base,
Yeah.
in my opinion. And then there should be some pieces we're adding in,
Mhm.
for you specifically and what your goals are.
Yeah. Yep. I would agree with that. I think kind of the at least kind of the fun part too with the I mean, I'm gonna plug it because I enjoy
We're
it,
here to
but
do it. It's our thing. Go for it.
with like the performance stuff is just being able to do some of the things like we just can't like I'm having people do ski ergs.
Yeah.
Like I can't have them do that in class.
Right.
Or like we're kind of doing some sandbag stuff or just different movements or objects where it's like, man, I'd love to do this in class. But
Yeah.
so it is kind of a nice point too of just like I had him do skiing the other day and just seeing the feedback of like, oh, that's different. Like
Yeah.
skiing hurts a lot more than I thought it would, or like I'm struggling to do my 10 count. Like it's good. I think it's good just
Yeah.
to show them different things that they can do and that kind of thing does show up competition.
Right.
So
100%. And I'm glad you brought that up too, because I've seen some programs too where they're so competitively focused that they only do those types of
yeah.
things. And then it's like, but you're missing the base, that
Hmm.
like the non-class things, the
Yeah.
non-fundamental
Yeah.
things. Like, cool, you're great at rope climb, skier, sandbag work, and squat snatches,
Hmm.
but you're not doing the other training pieces that are like 30-inch box jumps, and like it's like
Yeah.
they only do the hard things that are only at competitions.
Hmm.
And then when a base thing comes out, it's like, oh, like I'm maybe not that good at that thing
Yeah.
because like you just haven't been doing it,
Hmm.
right? Or whatever. And so I would say that definitely be careful about like not always doing just competitive. And that's again why I like that we make people do class
Hmm.
and then we add those pieces in.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you might see a skier, you
Hmm.
might see a sandbag, you might see these other things. And I'm gonna make sure you know how to use them and do
Yeah.
them. And then if you know you're signed up for a competition and that's going to be in it,
Yep.
as that competition gets closer, we can personally
Hmm.
add more of that in for you
Yep.
so that you are more prepared for it.
Yep.
But I don't think necessarily for class or everyone all the time, we need to be doing sandbags once a week
No.
or sled pushes and pulls once a week or
Not at all.
whatever. Like occasionally here and there, yeah.
Yeah.
And again, that probably goes back to just a gym in general of like, I'll use Crash as an example. They have a lot of things.
Hmm.
Most gyms don't.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, I'm programming for most people to get some base fitness in, and we can still adjust those things to make them harder, more fun, more
Hmm.
competitive. And some days we'll put tighter time caps in class,
Yep.
or we'll do interval work, or
Yep.
we'll do forced touch and
Hmm.
go, or whatever. And they'll still get a taste of that intensity. But outside of that, yeah, we do have a few of those things,
Yeah.
scary sandbags and things, yokes, right? We
Hmm.
have one yoke. Like not everyone needs to be touching a yoke,
No.
but it's like, hey, you want to do some competitive work and you
Hmm.
might see a yoke somewhere. Yeah, I'm going to teach you how to pick it up and walk with it.
Yeah.
Like it would be fun to do,
Yeah.
you know? So
Yeah.
you'll see pieces like that. And
Yeah. And like to your point, like we're not skiing every week. We're not C2 biking every week because there's at this point there's really no point.
right.
Like in the open, are we going to see a C2 bike? No. We're not going to see a C2 bike. Are we going to see an Echo bike? Echo bike's really good for a lot of things, but it's not going to be in the
Still
open.
haven't seen it.
Exactly.
It should be like I'm still shocked that we haven't seen it in the open.
Yeah.
After they announced it so many years ago, and like it's like, okay, what's one thing we could add to the open that would be
Mhm.
different and new? And like it's
Yeah.
just sitting there. It's just
Yeah.
sitting there. I
And
feel like it's gonna happen.
maybe this next year is the year, and maybe in the performance track, like once we get to late December, early January, maybe there's more Echo bike.
I
We'll
mean,
see.
I'm just
But
gonna say there's probably two things that will make you a better athlete. One, burpees.
yeah,
Higher volume burpees. I promise you, you'll
yeah,
get better at a lot of things. And two is the Echo bike.
yep,
Like you can't get enough of those things because of just what they do to your body and the effort you have to put into them.
hmm
And you could use those two things and get a lot better at a lot of things.
yeah,
And obviously, they're the things people avoid. So it's like,
hmm
here we go.
yeah,
Compound movements, right? Arms and legs.
yep,
And I guess thruster, you can throw thrusters in there. So if
yeah.
you had to do 3 movements for the rest of your life and be a
Those
better
three.
competitor,
So
burpees, echo bike, and
mhm,
thrusters, and you'll be fine.
put them all together and see how you do.
Oh man. Next week, 21:15:9, cow bike,
God,
burpee over bar, and thrusters.
yeah.
Jesus, that'd be bad. We did a Fran that way one time. Echo bike and thrusters.
Ugh,
21:15:9. It was brutal. It
yeah.
was brutal. Um, so on that note, I had to actually about one other thing that I do want to throw in there as well, because people get this itch too, and I get texts all the time
Mhm.
of, "Hey, I'm starting to look for this equipment for my home,
Yeah.
but I want to make this home gym. I'm starting to build this home gym."
Yeah.
And I just always chuckle because and again, I've been around a long time, and it's like this itch of like, I want to do more.
Mhm.
So now I'm going to buy the stuff for my house to do
Yeah.
more. And again, it goes back to, I mean, what are you using it for?
Mhm.
Are you using it appropriately?
Yeah.
And is that really a good long-term investment? Because also that some people don't realize how expensive some of that stuff
Yeah.
is until they start looking into it.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, dang, like I
Yeah.
didn't realize, you know." But the thing is like you get one piece, then you get another piece, right? And then you get another, and then it's like, okay. And then to me, being a gym owner, the amount of stuff I've been offered from members or like, "Hey, I got this rower sitting at home. Would you want to buy it off me?"
Yeah.
Because at some point they thought, I'm going to do more rowing at home, or I'm going to
Mhm.
have a home gym with a rower.
Yeah.
And they used it for 6 months or whatever. And then like got tired of working out by themselves. And then
Mhm.
now they're back at the gym and they have this rower just sitting at home, or these weights sitting at home, or
Yeah.
whatever it is.
Yeah.
So, I text you, we should bring up some home gym stuff because it is, I'm not going to say it's bad. Definitely if you want to get it. But, you know, really think about the future of like, what am I going to use this for? How often am I actually going to use this? And then how long am I going to use this? Right.
Yeah.
Because it is expensive stuff and it will last forever. But
Mhm.
at the same time, if you're at home working out, a coach isn't watching you,
Yep.
right? Like, do you actually know what you're doing? And are you safely doing these
Yeah.
things to get better? Are you making up your own workouts on top of stuff? Like, are you still coming to the gym and trying to do that? And then, like, is that too much? Like, all of a sudden you start coming to the gym and you don't feel well, or things are
Mhm.
getting hurt, and it's like, okay, well, I've been doing 100 extra pull-ups a day at home, and it's like, oh,
No wonder.
found your problem,
Yeah.
like, and so again, hey, you want a home gym? Great, like at least let us help program for you like appropriate things
Yeah.
for you to do with that home gym or
Mhm.
whatever. Or like, hey, if you know you're gonna be stepping away from the gym for a while, cool, that's a good thing to have. And there are online programs out there.
Mhm.
But like we talked about earlier, for most of the people I've met who got a home gym, they get super tired super fast of working out by
Yeah.
themselves. It's a really hard thing to do,
Mhm.
especially when it comes to CrossFit,
Yep.
because you start to lose the intensity, you
Mhm.
start to lose the fun, you start to lose a lot of the things that a community and being part of the gym
Yeah.
helps with and brings you into on a daily, regular basis to get the work done.
Mhm.
And it's a scary switch when you start doing that by yourself at your
Yeah.
house.
Yeah.
It can be hard.
Mhm.
And again, hey, I can't make it on Wednesdays regularly, and I still want to do the class workout. I'm just gonna start doing it. Cool,
Yeah.
great, but that's a big investment for one day a week of some working out. So,
Mhm.
when it comes to home gym stuff, it's kind of along the same side of competitive of programming and extra work and all that stuff. It's like,
Yeah.
is it being used appropriately to help you, or are you getting in that trap of I'm gonna do more and I don't really know what I should do or shouldn't do, or is it too
Yeah.
much, or things like that.
Mhm.
And you know, it can be hard to do for
Mhm.
sure. So
Yeah.
just, hey, we're always here for questions and we can help guide you. And
Yeah.
you know that's, we have pieces
Mhm.
and we want you to do them, and we want you to get better. If you have goals and you have things you want to get better at, and
Mhm.
you want to be a better competitor, you want to go from scale to intermediate, RX to elite, whatever it is.
Yep.
There's Fit as the Coast coming up, and then we
Mhm.
have Mayhem coming up, and there are specific competitions that
Yep.
if you're like, I really want to sign up for one, and I got my eye on this one, like, cool, let us know,
Mhm.
and we can look at the workouts they've announced and
Mhm.
start programming for those things
Yep.
to make sure that you're prepared when you get there.
Yep.
So
I think to that point too, like with the performance track, like because there's so many people doing fitness to the coast, like it has the bias towards that right now. But that doesn't mean in the future like it's going to be banging your head into the wall workouts all the time.
Yeah.
Like there will be different points of the season where like, okay, we're working on strength or the open's coming up. We might want to touch barbell cycling a little bit.
Right.
Like it's not always going to be not fun, if that makes sense. But for the time being, it's not that much fun.
Yeah. And again, I think you're introducing people to a lot of good stuff that
Mhm.
they haven't been introduced to before.
Yeah.
The main one being hold this stimulus, hold this time,
Hmm.
hold this whatever.
Yeah.
Because you can take the same exact movements we do in class, and then all of a sudden, like, oh, I have to do this unbroken, or I
Hmm.
have to try a little bit harder here or there. I
Yeah.
can't stop, and that changes everything,
Yeah.
right? But until you're introduced to that stuff, you can't. You
You don't
you
know.
gotta learn
Yeah.
it. You don't know
Yeah.
what you don't know,
Hmm.
right? And so it's cool that that's the pieces they're getting right now. And yeah,
Yeah.
do the work, have
Yep.
fun, work hard, like enjoy what you can out of it.
Hmm.
But also know like, and I think too sometimes, and we can end on this, but like boring stuff sucks. But I think
Hmm.
when you get to the other side of it, you kind of look back and you're like, kind of proud of myself for doing that.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of long, hard workouts I've done that just have just been a grinder. And then it's like in the middle of it, you're like, why am I doing this? And then
Hmm.
like an hour later, I'm like, it's kind of cool that I did that.
Yeah.
And I guess my last example will be the fantasy football punishment I had to do.
Yeah.
Like looking at that, it was just like, I know this is going to take about this time.
Hmm.
I think I called like under 50 minutes or something
Yeah.
like that. And it was like 45 because I was able to look at it and go, okay, this is going to take about that long. This is going to take
Hmm.
about that long. This is going to take about that long. And like frog hopping 400 meters, it's not fun and
No.
it's not fast.
No.
But I had done so many long, grueling things before that it was just like, I'm gonna do like I know I can
Yeah.
do it, and I just know I have to just sit here at this pace doing this thing for
Hmm.
this long. And if I hadn't never done long rowing intervals before, or freaking 7 to 9 mile runs training for a marathon or whatever, like then you don't have that headspace. And then all of a sudden it becomes this complaining thing that
Hmm.
like, oh, this thing sucks. But it's like I just goes like, I'll do it, and then 45 minutes I'll be done.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's cool to have to not only physically build that, but
Hmm.
mentally build those things as well within
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I would definitely agree. Like the boring stuff when you're done is sometimes the most like rewarding because you were able to push through or you were able to finish this long thing that you wanted to do. Or like sometimes I did one the other day where it's like it was 10 total rounds. I wanted to quit at six, finished the 10 and was like, okay, like I'm happy I did that. And like
yeah,
I mentally pushed through and like grinded through that. So even though they suck or they're boring or they're not fun, sometimes they're the most rewarding, at least in my opinion.
yeah. I'll give you a mental trick that I do sometimes with like a 10 round like that is I'll tell myself there's more rounds.
Yeah.
Or like I'll try to convince myself like, hey, could you do this again? Like because
Hmm.
sometimes you get to that 10th round and you're so glad it's done. You're like, oh, this is the last one.
Yeah.
But I try to keep myself in the headspace of like the other day with the bike intervals.
Hmm.
So it was 30 minutes of work. I was like, I bet I could do this for an hour. It wouldn't be fun. So it'd be 20 intervals.
Hmm.
Like, could I maintain for 10 more rounds?
Yeah.
I don't know. But like in my head, I told myself I could.
Yeah.
Like every time I recovered, I walked back over to the bike and I was
Hmm.
like, all right, just put your head down, do it again.
Yep.
Okay, now I got to recover again. Put your head down, do it again. And recovering got harder. I'll say
Hmm.
that. But after the 10th round, I probably could have done an 11th.
Yeah.
Probably could have done a 12th.
Hmm.
And I don't know where that would have ended. But
Yeah.
like in my head, I tried to convince myself that like there's
Yeah.
a little bit more,
Hmm.
which helps me get to the end of what I'm doing.
Yep.
You know.
Yep.
So we'll leave it at that.
Cool.
Unless you got anything else you want to add.
I don't think so. I
Cool.
think that's good.
Sign up for some tracks. Let us know if you have some goals. We're doing nutrition now.
Yep.
We got all the things to help you get better. If there's a movement or a competition or
Yeah.
anything in general you want to get better at, Nate and I are here for you.
Yep.
We'll help you out.
Cool. All right. With that said, go ahead, hit that subscribe button, leave a like on the video, and then comment if there's anything else you want to see or just have us talk about, and we'll go from there. So thank you all for watching, and we will see you all most likely next week in Off the Rails.
We'll do it.